brief all the way through this, plus we'll do our takeoff briefing and stuff before we even start the GTC.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then we'll run through it from there.
Sure.
Should we get the ATIS right? Well, it'll be good enough to do a circuit anyways, right?
Yeah, just do an 800-foot circuit.
Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go out and we'll do one circuit, and we're going to do an all at 2, just down the runway, and we'll get the clearance for straight out after that, and then you filed to Hope?
I filed 900,000 or up to Hope for the Hope 1 arrival.
Okay.
Yep. And then just 2 approaches back here. We'll slip the, but I also filed that after the approach, we would be doing to the VOR. Second approach will commence from the VOR.
Okay.
But we can do that on a touchable basis.
That sounds good. So, and you can brief that Hope 1 arrival prior if you want to, just to get it out. So I'm gonna tell you, just for the bombing run, first of all, we'll come around normal circuit.
So you're gonna do the takeoff?
I'll do the, no, you can do the takeoff.
Okay.
Your takeoff.
Okay.
And then jump in the circuit and I'll take over from you downwind.
Okay, sounds good.
And then I'll call for the bomb check.
Okay.
It'll be a little bit busy, but I'll have the after takeoff check done. Then we'll do the bomb check on the downwind.
Okay.
And
I still think it might be easier with
do you want,
if you do the takeoff.
Sure, I'll do it.
I think we're going to have more problems if we do a transfer control and downwind.
Okay.
Especially with the weather like this.
And you'll get more. And you know what? We'll have to take off on 07, and then you will just join the circuit for 19.
Yeah. So why don't you do the takeoff? I think would be the best way to go for this first.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeff.
You got it.
Nice. And then when we come in, because it's all at 2, we're going to go way down the runway. Yeah. So I'll get you just to not go to METO power right away, just feed in the power, and then once the load's away. He told me to tell you
not to go too low.
Yeah, I know. He told me to. So we'll plan on dropping at about, we should be over 300 feet. Like,
yeah. Between 3 and 4? Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I'll aim for about 350. We won't go below 300.
Roger.
So that'll put us 100 and some above the ground.
Sounds good.
Okay, what else? That good for the bomb run?
That's good, and I just filed from over top of the airport for our IFR portion. Give them a call, we got lots of time, because I planned 30 minutes because I thought we were going out somewhere, so we'll be a little bit early, but I think they can accommodate us.
Yeah.
900,000 Hope arrival. I'll brief that for you through the checklist, and then back to your approach, VOR and approach.
Okay, master if you want.
So our bomb system right now, you can't really see it. Normally this would be full right with a green line all the way.
Are we loaded?
Yeah, we're loaded already.
Well, how come
when it's, oh there it is,
okay.
With the red line, little green one at the top. When it's really, really full, sometimes it'll actually show out, so I'm just using this little selector to kind of get a different sensor in the tank. What we can do is we can set, using this dial, various quantities, as well as the amount that's going to come out at one time. So for example, the heaviest load we could do would be all of it, which would drain the whole tank at what's called coverage level 8, and that's going to be the most concentration, a very heavy drop all at once. Depending on the size of the fire, what the air attack officer wants, we can set different amounts. So for example, if we're going to do 2 runs, we could set a half. That way we don't have to concentrate with our eyes on the tank. It's already going to preset, and it's only going to drop a half at one time. So his button's right over here. So that way he can just do a push, and he can hold it, and it'll only go to a half. He can keep holding it, and it won't drain the whole tank.
Got it.
Whereas if he was set in the all position, as long as he's holding that button, it's going to come out. And then the different coverages are all set here. So 1 would be a very long, we could probably go for a lot longer than a 6. It's just going to be a very thin amount of stuff coming out.
So, and I think a 1 is almost a mile. So we'll be doing,
if you went all at 1, yeah, you're going to go about a mile. Whereas if you went to 6, you're only going to get maybe a quarter mile or whatever the distance.
So what are you going to dump with?
We're going to dump at 2, all at 2. So we'll be a good halfway down the runway for sure. And it's more for grass fires or something like that. The heavier coverage level would be in timber, where you want a bigger drop on the trees. We dropped 18,000 pounds of retardant in water. That's how big the tank is, which is 2,100 US gallons. And,
what are some of the flying speeds?
It cruises at about 270 knots, anywhere from say 8 or 10,000 feet right up to flight level 250. And we drop at 120 knots, between 120 and 130. Do our approaches at 120 to 140. And flap speeds when we're loaded, 150 to start, right down to 130.
Takeoff speeds, landing speeds?
It's going to be based on our cards and our weights. So we have what's called a told card, takeoff and landing data. So for example, we have a load of water on right now, and so we're going to be doing a takeoff of 56,000 pounds. Because we have a loaded takeoff, we're going to be using our 20 degrees of flap setting. So we're going to have a V1 of 108, rotate at 111, VE2 is 113, and this is our best single engine climb speed, so it's a speed that we're going to target. We know it's a safe speed of 144, and when we go through our briefing, we're going to brief according to these numbers. Of course, if we did have an emergency, we have a little card that's up here highlighted, because of course, in the old days you couldn't just jettison all your passengers, but we've got the luxury of being able to unload 20,000 pounds of this of weight. Our numbers would change in an emergency, and we keep that card right there, so we have different speeds at the end of the emergency. I announced that this will be a, I'm going to do the briefing as if my side, but I know that you are...
That's a good way. We'll do it, and then we'll redo it as mine.
That's correct. So this is going to be a right seat, dry takeoff, and what the dry means is we have this water method system, so if it's really hot in a short runway, we can inject water methanol into the engines, and it's going to give us a way of getting better performance, because it's essentially going to keep our temperatures lower for the short duration of the takeoff. So for our purposes today, we don't have that issue, so it'll be a right seat dry takeoff, 56,000 pounds using a TIT of 971. Any problems affecting safety prior to 108, however, control you.
I will call reject, close the power levers, apply max braking, and reverse as required.
I will call beta lights, jettison the load on your command, and advise ATC.
I'll stop the aircraft, set the park brake, and call for the emergency checklist.
I'll advise ATC as to the nature of the emergency and request assistance if required. In the event of an engine failure or fire after rotation, I will call max power. You will jettison the load. I will continue to rotate at 99 and climb at 101.
I'll set max power, confirm load release, and call positive rate.
I will call gear up.
I'll select gear up, identify the failure, and confirm auto feather.
I will continue to climb to 400 feet. I will continue to climb at 101 to 400 feet. Accelerate to VSEC 123. Call flaps up, METO power.
I'll select flaps up and set METO power.
I will call for the emergency checklist and communicate with ATC.
I'll call out, complete the emergency checklist, asking for your confirmation where required.
Understood.